Welcome to the On the Air podcast. Today I have a great guest is Anjan Panneer Selvam, a visionary tech leader and AI architect who turns bold ideas into real products. As Chief Product and Technology Officer at Acolyte AI, he's built strong systems, designed AI-powered user experiences, and helped companies unlock real business value. Outside of work, which is really cool, he's a passionate woodworker and a family man, bringing the same creativity and care to his life as he does on building a future of technology. Welcome, Anjan. I'm so excited to have you today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ulyana. I appreciate it. Looking forward to our discussion. Have followed the podcast and listened to all the great speakers you have. I think there's a great avenue for a lot of technology and AI to be consolidated and presented. So very much looking forward to it today.
Absolutely. And I know you're always standing at the edge of AI technology. So my first question would be, over the past year, what AI applications has truly blown you away? And why do you think it's a turning point for them?
I'm a big fan of all the applications that are out there. I use almost, the other day I was taking a list. I think approximately 15 to 20 on an average basis. So it's a lot of applications that are there. And that's, I think, pretty much every tech leader out there. They're trying to figure out what sticks, what doesn't stick, what works for the organization. But the one thing that's really blown me away in the last year is how almost, generative AI started in 2022, the December of 2022, like when ChatGPT came out. What has been really amazing is the progression has been like really fast. Compared to like, let's say the iPhone that came out, every year was slowly incremental. And over 20 years or over a decade now, we have like the thinnest iPhone that's there. But it's been very different with AI. It's been like every week or every month where significant changes are happening. One thing that's really blown me away this last year is how, irrespective of the tool, right? All of the tool, ChatGPT is my favorite, so I have a soft corner there. But the great thing is all the tools have become multimodal, where you can now use text, you can use images, you can use voice, you can use videos. So there is no constraint to what you can put into the AI tools. And that's been very fascinating and something that has completely blown me away, because when you started out, you could just ask 1 or 2 line questions, but now it's no longer that. You could upload an entire video, or you can upload an entire transcript, put a few images, and at the output too, you have multiple options. It's no longer just you get text. You can have the AI speak to you. You have avatars, you have the ability to produce videos. So I think the really amazing thing for me is how it's gone from single way of interacting with AI to where it's now multimodal. So there's multiple ways you can interact with it. And I think the great thing there is it's unlocked how many people can use it. It doesn't now depend on, you have to be in technology, you have to be like a visionary to use it, you have to be very technical to know it. No, the other day, my daughter, who is 3.5, is curious how to use Sora to generate a video, and it seems natural to her. And it's also meeting the needs of the most complex technology companies in terms of like understanding how to design better, how to move faster, better. So I think age as a barrier is disappearing, and the big reason that is because of all the capabilities in terms of how you can interact with AI. So that's something that's really blown me away in the last year as it relates to AI and the applications that are there in that space.
No, that's beautiful. I have one question. I'm curious what you said. Your 3.5-year-old is naturally doing this talk with AI. What about the elderly people that are people over 70, for example? How do they, have you noticed with your parents, or like I see them that they're so not still far away from that technology, and they're not learning as fast as kids do.
Yeah, I have parents who are almost near that age. I also, a large part of my career was in senior living. So I still work with a lot of seniors in nearby senior living communities. I just got used to talking to them, interacting with them, building technology for them. So I volunteer, I go meet them. It's amazing how seniors are using AI. They're starting to use it more and more. And the best way they interact with is voice. So they just like pressing the talk button. And as soon as that came out, so I do this demonstration where, hey, I jump on a Zoom call or I go in person, I show them what are all the technologies available. The first thing that really, got to them is, oh, I can just press this button and I can talk. So the most common things they ask are like, oh, how do I use this? What do I tell this? oh, can you teach me how to say happy birthday in a new language so that they can go tell another person that. So I think it's also with seniors and older elderly people. They don't spend as much time understanding what's behind it and all of that, which is good, which means like the application is nice and useful for them. And now they're
Yeah.
starting to adopt more and use it more. So no,
Yeah.
no age barriers to AI
Absolutely,
anymore.
and I love the voice idea. It's absolutely perfect. And you worked on some forward-looking projects. What is really one that you believe could reshape how we live or work in the next decade?
Interesting. Yeah. This this keeps changing so frequently now in terms of like, hey, what's possible. You know, this actually my anticipation for this goes back a little bit when Google came out with their Google Lens first, which was like glasses, where you could have like a small projection or the ability to look at things and search. I was really fascinated by it. It was almost impossible to get your hands on one because stock was so low, it was so inaccessible, restricted for only developers. The last year I've been using the Meta glasses that came out, where you can, it's have it near me too. It's like glasses. You can use the cameras on the sides. It lets you capture pictures. But yesterday, Oakley and Meta partnered to come out with this new product called Vanguard. Now, on the Meta glasses, on the Oakley glasses, you have actually something that projects on the lens. So it's like really the future of augmented reality, right? So you're wearing your glasses. There is no longer
Yeah.
a need to pull out your phone and say, oh, okay, let me look at something, let me search for something. You can actually, while looking at it, start searching. I was a big fan
And
of, yeah.
it came out yesterday.
It
It's
just
like
came out
yes.
yesterday. It just came out
Wow,
yesterday.
that's
So,
fantastic.
when it was when Mark Zuckerberg was showing it on the stage, and it was an amazing demonstration. There were later a lot of videos. Oakley came out with also an explanation of how they did it, what they do. The form factor is still something they're working on, right? This is just the second generation, but the fact that now you have AI being displayed right in front of your eyes, when you look around, you can see what it is. I mean, think about it, right? Like if you are in healthcare, when you're performing surgery or when you're talking to a patient, you can have their entire record in front of your eyes. You're not like going to a computer, moving away from them. You're focusing your attention on the patient. If you go to automotive industry, you can look at a part and say, oh, this is how this engine works. What could a mechanic do? So I think a lot of what came out in movies, like I'm a big fan of Iron Man. So whatever Iron Man did with Jarvis is almost close to a reality now. And I'm very, very excited about that. I'm very much looking forward to all of that technology that comes particularly outside of a phone. So whether it's a wearable, I wear this pendant that records my meetings, and then I can use it to convert it into like AI prototypes. These glasses that can think on, is almost like a computer on your eyes. So I'm very much looking forward to all of this and excited about what the future of augmented reality holds.
Me too. I love that idea. I think that the heavy Oculus glasses, right? Even though I tried them so many times, I feel super heavy and kind of not connected to real world. Like you have like a huge thing on your head. But those small glasses, I love the idea.
Yeah.
Now I want to go back, Anjan, to companies and corporations, right? I don't know if you saw a MIT report that came out that 95% of corporate companies don't see value and struggle to go to the next phase after AI POCs, and only 5% are succeeding, which is a huge, unsuccessful start. So many companies struggle to move forward, from research to real AI world products. What is your best advice that you could give to them? So bridging that gap and actually moving to the ROI and the business value.
Yeah, I think great point there. And that MIT study, I think, really shook up the industry or, made everybody open their eyes and pay attention a little bit. I think from my perspective, the answer is to be narrow, especially for larger companies. The goal is not to use AI to solve everything. I think that's where a lot of companies, when they started out, they're like, oh, let's go use AI in everything, or let's try to bring AI into the entire company as a layer, which is what I think is hard. Because the big gap is not that it cannot be technically solved. The big gap is that it's so new. So not everybody across the workforce understands it the same way. So there's a normalization problem. Like when even the BlackBerry first came out, there were people still using flip phones and there were people using BlackBerry. So it took a while for technology to normalize, for everybody to understand, oh, you can have internet on your hands. You can type an entire email on your hands. So I think the same thing extends here. where AI is coming out, but if it is forced to be adopted broadly, it starts to fail because people don't understand what all it can do, what are the capabilities and everything. So there is an education gap that first needs to be solved. So my advice is think about narrow problems where you can have small wins, but also keep thinking about how you can bridge it all together, like in a 2-year roadmap. Like not everything needs to be solved immediately. So there could be a small marketing problem. Just focus on that, solve for that with technology and AI. And if that can resolve, that's a good win. Next, move on to, let's say, customer support. You're having too much burnout with employees having to face questions. Have like an AI bot that answers questions and does first level customer support. Um, I'll tell you, like, there's a very, very good use case, right? On shoes, the company that makes shoes, On the brand, they have an amazing bot, if you look at it, that helps you figure out which shoe works perfectly fine, what is the right fit for it. If you give it some preferences, it'll suggest you a color. Now, such a big brand, it's a global brand. They could have said, I'm going to put AI everywhere. But they identified where is the first problem that their customers all come down to. Oh, it's the lack of choice or how to decide which to choose. So they solved for it with a very nice bot that helps interact and makes it easy. So that was the first win. Now they're expanding it across multiple aspects of the support process that they have, which I think is a great example. So I think all companies are slowly starting to do that, but that's my best advice in the space. Start narrow, focus on things that are easily achievable, build that trust and education with your workforce, and then I think start expanding horizontally into multiple areas.
No, I love it. Thank you for sharing. I think that's the biggest mistake that the hype brings, right? There is so much hype, and the excitement is there, but there is so many tools. There's so much research that you need to do, and taking it step at a time. I love the idea, like a biggest pain points that you spend most time that you can automate, right?
Right.
Focus on those, and then compare with the tools, and then see if there is a product that is ready. That because there's so many things out there that is only in the initial phase and POC phase. I love the shoe idea because I see we work with a lot of retail companies that some of them are trying to innovate in every area, the fitting and marketing and sales. But the ones that win, that really have a super, super narrow scope, and you can actually see it visually in some areas, how it changed.
Right.
It really makes a difference, even for the customer, right?
Yep, exactly, awesome. Definitely, yep.
And I wanted to ask you personally about your company, and if you can share what they do and what is the most interesting, innovative projects that you've done for them, right? Acolyte.
Yeah, definitely. So at Acolyte, we are a workforce enablement system. So we focus on bringing AI technology, digital avatars into the mix so that we can help workforces get better educated, upskilled naturally, and also be able to provide content delivery in a very engaging way. So we serve different verticals, but our product looks like where we have a combination of video-based training, we have AI-based interactions, or what we call a skill building. So let's say I'm a new hire, I'm coming into a company, Acolyte helps employers provide solutions that welcomes the new hire, gives them all the training with like a video-based avatar. So you don't have to actually go have HR explain it every time. Now it's all packaged into a nice microsite. It's a small learning module that helps the new hire get educated, whether it's their wellness, whether it's information about their job, what to do, all of the best practices. Then we provide a module where it helps employees understand how to best perform. So this could be new hires, this could be managers. So we create almost like a virtual environment where they could go build their skills. So it could be a manager trying to understand how to talk to their employee. It could be a new employee trying to figure out how to ask their manager something, or just a nurse wanting to learn how they could do better at their job. So we provide like a virtual environment where they can go build their skills. And lastly, we come towards how we can actually deliver the performance. So what are the best tips that we could have different employees do that would help employers be successful? So we basically enable the workforce to be able to deliver better, achieve better, and we work across a number of different vendors. It could be corporates, it could be employers, insurance companies, so we're in different verticals. And one of the great things we have done is there are, again, a lot of point solutions, as you mentioned. There's so many small solutions across the marketplace. So we are very enterprise friendly. So we bring it all together. We make it easy. So you talked about retail. So a retail employer could come and say, I want to be able to train my employees. I want to give them an environment, or like, let's say in a simple words, a chat experience or a voice-based interaction experience where they could practice their job. And then I want to be able to give them tools to improve. So all of those comes packaged as one experience. So rather than telling the employee, here's a chat GPT subscription, you go figure out what you need to do, or here's something else, you go figure out what you need to do. It's almost where it's for the next stage of AI solutions all brought into one that makes it into a seamless experience. And we're HIPAA compliant, we are SOC 2, so it helps be able to deliver things in a compliant way. So that's what we do at Acolyte. It's been a great last couple of years, serving a lot of customers. So it's been a fun journey so far.
Very nice, very nice. Congrats. And in terms of your projects that you've done recently, maybe that really excite you. So do you remember any project where AI truly solved the problem in a creative or unexpected way? Do you remember any, cool story for us?
Yeah, I think one of the things was like actually at Acolyte where, we a lot of times when our customers come in, they say, hey, we have a PDF. What do we do with this? How do we best convert this? So we built an engine where typically what you would do traditionally in a technical way is you figure out how to take that PDF, break it down into data tables, and then you load it into a system and then have it be able to say. One of the really cool things we did was move away from like a PDF format to what we call as an AI-friendly knowledge format. So it's a new way of how information is stored. That way AI can easily access it and also reliably access it. Because one problem that happens in the industry is hallucinations, right? Oh, is AI giving the right answer or wrong answer? So we built a very creative way of how to be able to say that I got the answer exactly from this place. This is how we're going to present it, and this is where it came from. So now when we go to like healthcare organizations or places where there needs to be high compliance, it's easy. And the amazing thing is we used AI to build all of this. So it's like, it was really great when we went through the experience, as we were like, okay, let's use a very clever, we use something called as Devin. It's a product made by Cognition Labs. So it's like almost like in what we call Devin as our AI intern. So we had the intern go figure out, hey, here's the problem. How do we solve it? Help me solve for it and do all of this. So that was an amazing experience that we had where, we used AI to creatively solve a problem that we're delivering with AI. And then, it's helped us manyfold. On a personal front, which, another story I want to share was, my daughter likes nighttime storybooks. So we keep reading a lot of nighttime stories. Off late, she's like, I want to be able to blend multiple characters. And I was like, is this possible with AI? If I give AI a prompt for a story, can it very creatively mix? So now she has her own set of storybooks that we all generated with AI, which like talks about how Bluey works with Peppa Pig to be able to do something. So it's all small, creative, like 2-page stories. But I think that's another wow thing. If you had to think through it and do it yourself, it would be hard to get so creative. But it's amazing what AI can do for kids too, in terms of entertainment, education, and improvement. So a lot of fascinating things. These two really stood out.
For sure, for sure. Thank you for sharing. I was thinking about that creativity that could really spike something completely different, right? That you've never thought about. And I wanted to ask you about those 20 tools that you use on a daily basis. You mentioned ChatGPT, you mentioned some of the voiceover tools that you use, but is there one or two particular ones outside of these two that really spike your creativity, maybe even in the woodwork, or and in any case that really makes you a better human, that automate more things that in your life that you used to do and now you have a tool for it? Is there, because I think that would be really helpful to know, and maybe somebody can use one of those.
Yeah, I think there are actually there's a couple. One that comes to top of my mind. I'm a big fan of this tool of late too. It's called Lovable. So
yes, I heard about it.
Helps you create like small applications or tools that solve problems. And the great thing with it is also it does very good UI. So one of the big problems with AI technology is it could look very scary or technical to a lot of people. I think Lovable's done a great job bridging that gap and making it very presentable, having the human aspect of it very much there in every solution it solves. So that's something that's big. So anytime, wife or family or at work, they say, hey, we have this problem, can you solve it? I immediately go to Lovable and spin up a solution. And like 1 hour later, we have something that solves. We were looking for like a leave tracking system. And I'm like, oh, here's a solution. At home, we have a lot of events that are coming up in the fall. So I built a database that helps track gifts and guests. So my wife could go use it to be able to distribute things. So that's one amazing tool. I think that's great at what it does for really quick applications. The other thing that comes to mind is something called it's called N8N. It's an automation tool. So if you've worked in industry a long time, you know ETL was like the standard of the game when you had to move different data sets to across different platforms. So the new version of it is called N8N. So that's an automation platform. So for me, whenever, for example, I get emails, I get a lot of emails. If there are emails that come from, example, family members, all of those go through N8N. It helps build it into like a small digest. So I have an app that's almost like Instagram, but it's just emails of family members that came through the week. So I like social media consumption a lot. So I like that format. So now I converted it from standard format into something that I like. And that's something that N8N did. So lot of small things that helps get N8N helps automate. So I think that's one other great thing that I noticed off late.
Wonderful. And question, how do you evaluate those tools? Because I know we don't have time to do anything, right? We're so busy. How do you find time? Where do you find your sources? How do you test them to actually like eliminate some of them? You probably forget where you get the membership, right? I'm curious, and I'm sure many people are also curious. How would you do that?
Yeah. No, I mean, I do pay for memberships that I'm probably not using at some point, but I love tools and products. That's how my career started out. I love using different tools to figure out what they do and how they solve. Very unknowingly, I was a good product reviewer for a long time. So anybody in our family or friends, if they wanted to buy something, they're like, "Hey, Anjan, is this a good thing to buy?" And of course, I've bought it, I've used it. I even picked up the iPhone Air today. So I was like, okay, ready to use it and try it out. So it's just I'm naturally passionate. And I think that's something that's also my advice to the community and everybody. Be passionate about technology, about products. I think everything solves a problem. It's about figuring out how to use it. I'm also starting a Substack to be able to explain to people about all these products in a way that I see them and I appreciate them. That way, it helps bridge the gap for a lot of them. So I think that's something that's just come with me along my journey as part of doing my PhD and everything. I've always been curious, so it's a natural extension of that. The other important thing also in this is you spoke rightly about it, which is like there are so many tools coming out. I think what is being overlooked a lot is people are not sure, or companies are not sure yet how to best test and evaluate it. So I think that's something that needs to come up a lot more in the industry too. What are the best ways to evaluate AI? If you're in the product community, there's such a big movement there now about how to define evaluations when you use AI in your system. So that's like the hottest thing right now that's coming up, and I think that's also what we are focusing on a lot. Are we sure with what AI does? How can we best predict it? So the concept of evaluations, just like similarly now, if you walk to a stranger, you know how to evaluate them. I think AI is similar. If you go to an AI model or product, how would you best evaluate it? So that's a big upcoming thing. We're very bullish about it and excited about it. So
wonderful. Well, I feel that you have a superpower of really like naturally you can look at the product, explain how it works, even in a couple of examples you already gave. So if you open your channel, I would love to watch it, because I think people are not as naturally into this research, and then they don't know what's good or what's not. Sometimes they believe stories, they don't know how to test it. So having you, been doing this, kind of for a long time and having the background would really help. And I wish you could do it. I hope you have time to do something like that. And I'll definitely tune into your channel. But thank you so much for joining, Anjan. Great info, amazing tools out there, and great advice for companies to really narrow the focus and find their, like low-hanging fruit and try to implement it to the end, not just dropping it and moving to something else. And I'm excited about the glasses, and have fun with you iPhone playback.
I appreciate it so much. Thanks again for the opportunity. Lovely talking.